What up, y'all?
Welcome
to the J&O Show.
where we talk about.
Today we are reacting to episode 48 of the Pop the Balloon Show. And we're reacting specifically to a moment where people talk about what marriage is. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was triggered.
When did you?
It was a great conversation to talk about what marriage has morphed into and changed into. And here's the question, is it a good or a bad thing? Stay tuned to the end because I wrap it up in a nice little bow. I was really judicial to everybody. I wasn't even all Christianified.
Roll clip.
What is your definition or your definition between of either being married and being in that marriage situation and a partnership? So in other words, how do you disseminate the difference between marriage, partnership, since partnership is technically a higher level than marriage?
All right, y'all. Here's what y'all don't know. We already reacted to this, and I just decided to reshoot. When I was looking at it to edit it, I was like,
oh wait, I missed what they were trying to say. I got it all wrong.
watching it the second time, it just don't feel no better.
I was gonna say
It still feels so like, okay. All right. So this is what had happened was.
This is what he thought.
I thought that they were saying that partnership in the way that they're talking about it is more than the way I look at marriage. Stupid. Let me be very specific. I was raised as a Christian, born into the Christian church. I was raised as a Christian, walked away from the church for like 10 years. Those of y'all who've been on the channel for a while know, I don't even think it's been a year that I've been back in the church. I'm a baby all over again.
Yep, you baby.
Christian, little Christian baby, little cute little thing, right?
Yep.
Don't let the grades fool you. I'm a really little cute little baby. So look, in my mind, I'm thinking that everybody understands marriage the way that I do and the way that my wife does, because being raised in the church with a certain mindset towards marriage, you look at it very different than people are defining it today.
Yep.
So when people say marriage nowadays, they're not talking about marriage the way the church looks at it all the time. Sometimes, like appears to be the situation here, they're saying marriage as in signing papers, getting registered by the government that you're in a marriage. That's it. They're not looking at all of the Bible verses and all of that other stuff. They definitely not looking at stats. Nope. They ain't looking at none of that. That's what they're talking about. They're specifically talking about the business side of marriage. And I've noticed after making this realization when I was going to edit it, a lot of people, that's what they're thinking. And the government, your taxes, your 401k, now y'all can be up under each other's insurance. That's all they're thinking about. When they say marriage, that they're literally segregating marriage separate from the partnership side of marriage. There is a part that is a partnership, which I also hate. I hate the fact that everybody says partnership nowadays because to me, being a Christian who actually tries to read the Bible, it demeans what marriage is to me. Everybody don't look at it like that.
Nope. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Some people, when they no, because all a partnership is two or more entities. I'm trying to get through it. All a partnership is two or more entities going towards the same goal. That's it. So they think that the two or more entities going towards the same goal is different from the business side of marriage. In our minds, all of that is encompassed in marriage. There's the business side of marriage. There's the relationship between man, wife, and God. And then there's, the relationship with us and the children, if you have it and stuff. Like if you had to separate it, it would be like that. You wouldn't separate marriage and then say, here's partnership. We would say all of this is under the umbrella of marriage, just different aspects of marriage. But there's also a covenantal part, which also comes in, it's a part of the relationship part that we also believe in as Christians. Everybody ain't there. And my first reaction, I was going off.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know what's wrong with these people. That's why all y'all double single. That's why the gay market sucks. That's why marriages suck, because y'all idea marriage sucks. And I didn't take into consideration that what they're talking about is completely different from what I'm thinking.
Are you slow? Oh.
I had to make that. But watching it again, I low-key feel the same way. I do.
Okay, you done?
I'm done now. She was waiting. She was over there chomping at the bit.
I definitely would agree with that. To me, marriage is literally that which is defined by the state, right? So I don't think that a lot really needs to go into it other than...
That's the problem. You can't be having the state define what marriage is. The state didn't come up with what marriage is. I know this is going to be like completely left, but not really. That's like the conversation that we're having today. What is male? What is female? Yes, I took it there. Because you have people saying, what is a woman? What is a man? Just because you can have a baby doesn't make you a woman.
Okay.
Which doesn't make sense to me, because I'm just like, okay. Because they're like, oh, well, some women can't have babies. That's semantics. I feel like that's the same bull when they talk about marriage and partnership. First of all, where did marriage come from? Marriage is a biblical institution. You can't sit there and say, okay, well, marriage is just you guys signing papers and making it legal. That's a part of the process because of the country that we currently live in. And I'm pretty sure other countries are like that as well. But not all countries are necessarily like that.
Yes, that's true.
I think one person was saying, well, oh, how do we know Adam and Eve was married? And I'm like,
What?
for my brothers and sisters who proclaim Christianity, hopefully you're reading. We all need to spend more time reading. I know I do.
We don't read.
Nope.
We need to open a book so you can see what it's about. If we're striving to be Christ-like, we need to understand what he was like.
Oh, that sounds reasonable enough.
And the only way we're going to know that is if we go into the word, Old and New Testament, not just New Testament. So in the Bible, when they talk about marriage, the word marriage, I don't think shows up until later on somewhere. I can't remember. You don't hear it in the beginning with Adam and Eve. No.
Nope.
However, you do hear about it later. You hear about the word marriage, and they let you know how someone became married. It lets you know that the husband and the wife, they knew each other. What does that mean? They had intercourse, that they consummated the marriage. That's how they became married.
Yes.
Okay. So in the beginning with Adam and Eve, no, they did not have a ceremony.
Nope.
There wasn't nobody there but them and God and the angels and Jesus and everything like that. So that's all they needed, right? The Bible says that Adam knew his wife Eve, and that's how you know that they consummated. That's basically how they became married. They didn't have no government, no state to stand the third where they had to go sign papers. None of that was there. The ceremony is there because you're supposed to be held accountable. So you have witnesses basically are like, in front of God and everybody else. They said that they was going to be with each other. They weren't going to be with other people. And then afterwards they went and they sealed the deal.
Yes.
Back in those days, they actually waited outside. While the husband and wife went in the tent to make sure that it was done.
Yep.
In God's eyes, that's how marriage is done. Nowadays, what people are doing is they're trying to break it up and they're like doing the semantics of it. No, marriage has never been just about you signing papers. If we are going back to the original, back in Adam and Eve, they never signed any papers. That is not what constitutes a marriage, because people are trying to take away the fact that when you lay and you know somebody, okay, when you get the walls and you get the axe, for those of you who may not be familiar with that in this channel, okay, that's how we talk about intercourse, all right? People are trying to take that portion, I think, out of it to make it seem like, oh, well, it's not a big deal because you can go lay your axe or have the walls wherever you want. It doesn't mean anything. And that is the problem, because we've been so desensitized with the walls and the axe, thinking that it doesn't matter who you lay with, it's not a big deal. When in actuality, no. In the eyes of God, that is how you become one. It's not you signing a paper, it's you actually doing that act. So that's the part that really frustrates me with this. And when you try to minimize marriage down to just saying, oh, it's just signing a piece of paper, that's why you have people who, as soon as something doesn't go the way that they expected, one of the people change, they're like, okay, well, let me just go get a divorce.
That's it, I'm out of here.
Because to you, all it was just signing a paper. It didn't mean anything.
Other than two people agreeing to sign a document. But I think a true partnership is having aligned goals and a vision that two people are working towards. That makes sense.
All right, so y'all, I started watching this YouTuber called, I think his name is Dat Shack. If I mess it up, I'm sorry. And I'm still what he always say. I'm triggered. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see why people are saying it. It still agitates me because I still am, I'm a baby Christian. So you all excited and everything. You feel it. You indignant about it and everything. You ready to go. You reading your Bible, you learning stuff. You're like, that's what's wrong with y'all now. You're doing all of this, shaking your head and stuff like that. But I get it though. It wasn't even a year. And I was there with y'all, so I get it. But I see the issues. Well, no, I wasn't there. But I see the issues though. But I see the issues that it's gonna cause, and I see the reason why the dating market is so terrible, and it sucks because a lot of people they're just gonna go down being defiant.
Yep.
All right, so we got one guy left here. Is he someone that's your type?
I would say
That meant no. That was no.
Ouch.
I don't have a type.
Okay.
I think this is very
That was a lie.
You tell lies.
That was a lie.
She's lying.
That type just ain't you.
very, just being honest, it's hard to be surface level, like in this very short period of time, right? Like,
But what you've been hearing so far and everything.
All you can be is surface level in this short period of time.
She's lying.
That's all you can be. You can't go deep.
Everything that you've heard from him.
yeah,
He's someone
I
that you
think
want to get to know
ideal
more.
alignments for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. So let me have you scoot that way for me. Get
Okay.
on over there. Come on up here with us. So, do you guys have one final question for one another? If not, it's okay as well.
All right. Just one. I can't combine.
Just one.
Okay.
The issue that they are going to have is that there's nothing really there to anchor somebody to making a marriage work when things get difficult. People are just going to be out nowadays.
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons.
Like, we don't have the community that would hold us. We don't have
That part.
We don't have the desire to be reaching for something outside of ourselves to hold us.
Nope.
It's just going to be us staying because it's beneficial to us. At some point, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting. At some point in the relationship, everybody is going to have to take 100%, and the other person is not going to be able to give in everything because they can't. And everybody seems to be in this mindset that everybody's always going to be grinding and leveling up.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And life don't care about your personal aspirations. I can tell you that for sure.
Yep.
With the stuff that's going on in our house, with all of the hospital visits that we've been going at for everybody, life don't care about your personal goals and what your timeline is for this, that, and the third.
Nope.
Like, we can't even go a month without somebody having to go to the hospital or being laid up sick and somebody having to take care of them. And my personal schedule when it comes to me working, her personal schedule when it comes to her working, none of that matters. Like, it's just one of those things where life happens and it's going to put you in a position where things are going to get hard. And I don't think we're leaving anything there for us to call on to make us stay when things get hard. And I definitely don't believe that people just have the character in and of themselves to do that.
Hell no.
Because the dating market and marriage rates and divorce rates are telling us that that's not keeping people together.
Nope. What location do you live in?
I'm
live?
like Midtown Phoenix.
So you're here in Arizona?
Yeah, in Arizona.
Okay. I'm in Dallas.
Oh,
So I travel a little bit, but I don't mind traveling, but
Yeah.
I don't live here remotely. I mean, locally, excuse me.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you good? Any questions?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't-
Okay. All right. Well, then let me ask my final question then. Is it a yes for you for her?
Yeah.
Okay. And is it a yes for you for him?
Yes.
We got a match.
Bro, when we all older, like, them nursing homes is going to be flooded.
Yep.
Overflowing.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you right now, don't nobody care about folk in nursing homes for the most part. And that's going to be a lot of us. Because a lot of us ain't going to be able to get married because of our attitudes and our mindsets. And a lot of us are not going to have kids. And there will come a time when the money that you're making and the life that you're living is going to be over. And I guess maybe the mindset is, well, I will have lived my life. And if my last 5 to 10 years of life, I'm stuck in a nursing home, pooping myself, waiting for somebody to come change me who don't care, I lived my life and it's over.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's the mindset. It might be.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. But tell us what you think. Comment your thoughts down below. And if you guys made it this far, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, turn your post notification, and give us a thumbs up so that way you can tell YouTube that you appreciate what we're putting down.
What we're putting down. I actually almost forgot it. I ain't even gonna cap.
Hey everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Press the off button.